right, it's the Rundown, September 8th, 2021, and it is presented to you by Everyman Jack. Everyman Jack, a couple Everyman on the panel today. We got the units, we got the extra sexy, we'll call it. And if you want to be extra sexy, you got to get yourself some Everyman Jack. Everyman Jack makes naturally derived grooming products for every guy in routine. These products smell amazing. Smell them, Dugsy. Give me one word to describe the smell of it. Amazing. That's the answer. And they're made of the highest quality, clean ingredients found in nature. Simple to use, affordable, and effective. No compromises. These products are good for you and the planet. No harmful chemicals, cruelty-free, and bottles are made of recycled plastics with a portion of the proceeds going to the National Forest Foundation. While they're famous for their shower essentials, they make a ton of different products. Check out their beard supplies. We got some beards on the panel today. Actually, I don't know if I should be saying that. Hair thickening shampoos, anti-aging kits, and limited edition Marvel line. For a limited time, Stoolies can get 15% off their first Everyman Jack order with promo code Barstool, plus free shipping on all orders over $40. Check them out at everymanjack.com/Barstool. That's everymanjack.com/Barstool. This is the Everyman panel right here.
Absolutely.
It's a beautiful thing to see.
It is. It smells like sandalwood.
It's sandalwood. Yeah. Is that what you would call it right there?
Yeah.
Okay, I can fuck with that. So we got a big-time units rundown here. I came into the office today to kick some ass in a fantasy football draft, and I was told I'm going to be doing the rundown with two of my favorite people. What's up, fellas? We got Ben Mintz in the house.
Yeah. we might need an engineer in here to make sure that there's not too much units in one spot.
I might have heard a creak on the seat when I sat down on here, so sorry, Dave, for breaking your seat on September 8th. Exactly. So we got a big rundown on the tabs here. We're going to start off with the recap. The units are back started down in Florida? Is that
what you guys went from Jacksonville to Tallahassee, up the East Coast.
Through Atlanta,
through
Virginia,
Baltimore.
through Baltimore.
And we had, it started off Florida State versus Notre Dame. Obviously, Florida State fan, Notre Dame fan, and
it's a great game.
Yeah, great game. Wild.
Actually, it was very funny leaving the stadium, and all the FSU fans are like, "Man, that was a good game." We're like, we're almost there, you know. And all the Notre Dame fans were just pissed that they just blew an 18-point lead and almost lost it all.
We're also pissed that we didn't cover the damn spread too.
Yeah. Well, you know, you just got to execute that team, I guess.
So I mean, when John McCain made the joke in 1976, it was witty. The way Brian Kelly executed, I almost pitched that like that SpongeBob scene where everyone had that look on their face in the comedy club. I mean, it was probably one of the most poorly executed jokes of all time.
Yeah, when you're doing John
Speaking
McKay,
of execution.
Yeah, you can't have a body count if you make that. I mean, that's kind of the thing there, and then whether or not, we've talked about that. So,
and of course, his infamous guy on the forklift.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't have a body count.
You can't have a body count. Did you end up singing the Notre Dame fight song for the loss?
We did, and it was
on my TikTok.
It was on Frank's TikTok.
You got to go to Frank's TikTok.
Subscribe to Frank's TikTok, and then up to Camden Yards for an Orioles game. Announced attendance 4,500.
It was like they announced it like 4981, I think. There could not have been more than 2,500.
You could actually hear the things echoing.
Yeah, there was like a lady heckling from the third baseline, and we were on the first baseline, and we could hear everything.
I mean, on Monday they actually had a rat at the stadium, and people were cheering for the rat. The rat would have actually been positive from everything going on. There would have actually been more bodies in the seats. I mean,
it's a beautiful park. Like I had nothing. There's a beautiful stadium.
Yeah, we went.
Real nice.
The stadium's beautiful. Concessions, well, they need a lot of help.
Yeah.
And we walked around, and there was one section where they have like the bullpen, and there's like just picnic tables, and there are like 7 ushers just sitting over there chilling because there's. Like in some sections, there are more ushers than fans.
Yeah, there's just no one to usher down when there's no fans in the ballpark. Now, Frank, you made a comment about the concessions, and Josh, one of our guys here who grew up in the DMV, was not happy about it. You're calling out boobs, are you not?
I was very disappointed in boobs.
There's three things you don't fuck with Maryland residents. You don't fuck with their boobs, you don't fuck with their flag, you don't fuck with their Old Bay. And you're calling out 1/3. What do you think about the Maryland flag?
It's probably the biggest eyesore in the world.
And what do you think about Old Bay?
I've never had Old Bay.
So all you Frank was right people, that's your fucking king right there. Suck my dick, all you. I'm on the rundown now, and I'll tell you, suck my dick, Frank is right people. You're wrong. You want to see a bad team? That's what you watched last night. The Baltimore Orioles are a bad team.
Well, they won.
The Mets are an average team. An average team that has a little bit of luck, a little bit of bad luck, a little bit of good luck.
Clem, the Orioles suck. They're an organization that's a complete disaster. They're rebuilding. They're a dead team. They're what the Mets were in the late 70s. Hopeless, playing in front of an empty stadium where there's more ushers than fans. The 2,000 fans in the game. You could the food sits around. It's not good. I mean, the problem with Boogs was they didn't have barbecue sauce. They gave you dipping packets.
Cafeteria barbecue packs like you'd get in school, like with chicken. You're like middle school chicken nuggets.
Now, a barbecue guy would say you don't need to have sauce on good barbecue, however.
Well, I don't know what they were
This
using.
needed barbecue.
Listen, the sandwich was good, but it was like $18.50. And so for me, from Jacksonville, Florida, we don't do that. I could have taken my whole family out to dinner on that.
But then Frank's coming from New York, New Jersey. He's going down there, and that's probably like half price for the
steal.
city.
I mean, I expect a pork sandwich, barbecue pork sandwich, to be in barbecue sauce.
Like soaked in the in the sauce.
I mean, no one's going to argue with the three bellies on this podcast right now. We know our food. We like it.
What Frank is saying as far as the team goes, he's saying he actually cares about the Mets. That's the difference. Like the Orioles, if they're garbage, nobody cares.
The Orioles are bad.
He expects more from the Mets.
He said the Mets are going to win 14 games this season, Doug's. They're not a fucking NFL team.
That's
14
frustration. That's
games.
frustration, Clem.
You said they're the worst team since the '93 Mets when they already had more wins than that team had the entire season.
Frank says things sometimes. I have to ask him half the time. Like, is that a Frank fact?
Frank is the Trojan horse of Mets Twitter. He brings in people like Tommy, who are Yankee fans, people like Dave, who has the little smirk on his face when you know he's fucking with
Clem,
you, and I have to deal with it in my mentions.
This is a team that should not be 70 and 69. They have the talent to be at least 80 wins, at least by now.
They do have the talent.
They would have 80 wins if the best pitcher in baseball wasn't on the shelf half the season.
But they don't hit. Their hitting is awful. It's the worst.
How many games have they lost? How many games have they lost just by one run?
28.
Way too many.
Clem, I have 9,000 things I'm taping right here. I have 5 minutes to myself. I saw Frank. I saw him over there. I tapped him and I said, please apologize to Frank. Everything he said, I heard this stuff. He's never said they're the Orioles. He's not saying they're the Orioles.
He said they were going to win 14 games,
They're
Dave.
a big market team, and when they're falling apart, and here's the thing, I think Frank has been the consistent one. He wants them to be good, but let's be honest. I used to respect you, Clem, and you've become such a KFC fanboy. And how do you explain Kevin going from the most negative, I hate everything guy to now they could lose 100 in a row and he's going to do the Macarena, being like, we're going to turn this around. He's right. I started paying attention. They lose like 15 in a row. You guys are silent. You don't criticize the team at all. You win one game. This guy is the only one who'll keep the feet to the fire. I get it, Cohen. You're happy on a new owner, and you and Kevin were both, what you did to the Wilpons is a travesty. It was an absolute travesty. Like they go to the World Series and contact, that famous line from Kevin, but they were competitive. They just had injuries. They were trying to win, and this man is the only. He calls it as he sees it. He calls it as he sees it. And when they're losing 16 straight or whatever,
and they've had so many embarrassing moments this year. I mean, come on. It
has. You don't think it's been the same old Mets this year?
There were some moments where I was like, this shit's hitting the fan that's not even on the field, but that's just that.
But
it's the team.
If it happened last year and the thumbs up, thumbs down with Baez and all that, you guys would be the Wilpons and drunk GM, but now it's a free pass and Kevin he's up in like the clouds. I've never seen him so. It's just because this man of honor and integrity took Kevin's shtick. Now I don't know what happened to you.
The retirement match is out there. That's all I can say. Frank wants to take the retirement match. It's still out there.
But I'm not going to be in a position to root against the Mets.
That's unfair. You know that's unfair. You know that's unfair. You're asking him to root against the Mets. He gets penalized if they win. If a man of honor, you should do a self-bet.
A self-bet?
It should be you versus yourself. Because everyone's rooting for the same thing. And I'm sure, if I know Frank, he doesn't want to lose you, but you're so confident in this new regime.
I'm not getting mousetrapped right now.
It's not a mousetrap. But you can't bet him.
I already said, if somehow by some miracle they make the playoffs, I will sit here for an electric chair wearing the shut the fuck up Frank shirt with tape on my mouth.
Nobody wants to make the Mets the playoffs more than Frank.
That remains to be seen. And I think the fans that are trying to see the glass half full are the ones who want to see the team a little more.
All right, that's fair.
But I see the glass half empty with a leak at the bottom.
Because you threw it on the ground.
No.
In a fit of rage. You broke the glasses. You broke the
He
safety
calls
glasses,
it
Frank.
as he sees it. But the glass half empty versus glass half full crowd, I have to ask, when did Kevin go into the glass half full crowd? The man counsels the season, the first game of the season every year, except this year because Frank's around, and all of a sudden he's Mr. Positive.
Because, Dave, there are now 2 handsome, rich, smart motherfuckers in his life. He used to be you, and you were the only person. You were his enemy. Now he is Uncle Stevie. He is Uncle Stevie, Uncle Davey.
But there's nobody you can look at this season and say it's been like objectively different than anything that's gone on with the Mets the past.
The injuries.
They didn't make the playoffs last season, and it was harder to miss the playoffs than make the playoffs. 8 teams made it, 7 teams didn't make it.
But the off-field shenanigans and things like that. Like you
Donnie
had 2
Stevenson.
front office guys, like what DUI and what was the other one? The like
Pervert, man.
Pervert. Alleged pervert.
pervert.
Another
Alleged.
no.
I don't know if you have to
Imagine-
say that. I don't like Barstool. We were getting sued.
Imagine,
I always say alleged.
and then the thumbs down, they're booing. Imagine if that happened with Wilpon.
Imagine if someone could, if people are upset about the negative fans in this franchise. He better watch out. Carl's going to kill this guy. I'm just trying to watch out for Frank.
I have no problem with negative fans, but that's been Kevin's shtick. Like only the Mets,
and I
only
actually have
Mets
no
fans.
problem with the negative being booed. I say this to Javi Baez and the Mets. Don't apologize, fucking win.
Well, they're doing both right now. Javi Baez is getting hot. They're winning some
But
games.
they're playing the Nationals and the Marlins.
And they were losing to the Dodgers and the Giants when the whole Frank was right
But
thing was
they-
going
but
on.
they-
And they do all right
But they
against
only
the
went,
Reds
they
and
only
the
went,
Brewers.
they only went
It's all
3 and
about
2
the middle
against the
season.
Nationals.
Same
They
song,
should go at
same
least 4 and 1.
dance.
They should sweep the Marlins. I don't want 2 and 1 against the Marlins. I want a sweep. I want 4 and 1 against Nationals.
I want 162
expect
and 0.
more.
Violet Beauregard. That's our fan base right there.
So is
It's
it
Violet
all? Is it
Beauregard.
just the switch from Wilpon to the Cohens?
Yeah, it's a long-term thing, not a short-term thing. Because
But-
if we were losing, we'd have no end in sight. Uncle Stevie hasn't even owned the team a full year.
So let me ask you this. And that by the way, the rocker thing. Like if Wilpon did that, forget
You guys
about
would have
it.
been. You guys would have been next to me
over the moon,
yelling.
Frank.
They would have
They were
never
over the
drafted
moon.
Rocker because it would have been way too much money for them. The thing is, the
But
Astros did the
That
same
would have
thing.
been fine. I didn't want it.
You're better off not doing it then. You waste the draft pick.
No,
didn't
you get it back the next season.
Get it
the
back
the
next
Astros did the
season. It's
same
always
thing. They
next
got
year
Alex
with these
Bregman the next
guys.
season.
And
Won
next
the
year's,
World Series. You
and
guys
next
even
year's
watch
draft
baseball?
isn't as loaded as this year's draft.
Frank, you make up shit all the time. This is a Frank fact. Look at that smile. It's like Portnoy's
You
little
know it is.
slanted
That's
smirk.
the Mets history. And Kumar Rocker's going to end up becoming
Guys are the worst.
friggin' best pitcher of all time. You know that's the Mets history.
The thing about it is, the I don't know what to call him, the KFC Clem twosome, are trying to make it seem like there's a shtick from Frank, but Frank has been a diehard Mets fan. That's like how we fucking found him missing the subway. So everything this man lives, dies with the team. And Shtick Clancy, who's been so negative, it's 75 and sunny. I hate 75-degree weather. Like no matter what you say, and now he's king positive.
That's what happens when you have Uncle Stevie in your life. Was this all a setup? Because I was wondering how I got to become the host of the Rundown.
No, I heard you over there. You mentioned my name.
Okay. Very nice tie. Where'd you get that tie from? I'd
This
love
is
to
the
get a tie like
Overs
that.
Club. It is open for business tomorrow night. It's only open in the NFL probably like 2 to 3 times a year, if that. So here you go. You bet the over on the Bucks tomorrow night, Barstool Sportsbook. And this tie, which screams class, sophistication, points, is available. Nice change of subject, but Clem.
And Tennessee, they can bet that now
Yeah,
too, right?
Tennessee, and we'll also be live in Colorado. But let me say this, Clem. I expect out of Kevin, and I've said it many times, you used to be a man of honor and integrity. I didn't hear you say once when the Mets were in that stretch, like anything negative about them.
Got to follow. We got to believe on Instagram. We have our takeovers twice a week, and there was a lot of negative being said.
And it's just the one extreme because the console, like the CU at that, he would console after the first pitch. It'd be like ball one, opening day is like
He's
console.
consoled in opening day before.
Yeah,
can
I
confirm
know.
that.
So
If he can change, and I can change,
I just think
all
we
change.
could
We can all
all. It's so you guys are so stubborn. If you just were like, yeah, Frank's right, done. Forget about it. Then we
Put
can all
that
root for
smile
the
off your
Mets as a
face- your
team.
face. Fleming.
And what I want is I want change. I'd want these all the Wilpon holdovers. I want them gone, including Luis Rojas and Sandy Alderson.
I actually have to say that this, and I feel like, and this is just, I pay attention to the Mets because of you guys. The off-the-field shenanigans that happened this year are the most Mets-like thing I can remember in the last
That's
couple.
the problem. That's why I'm so concerned.
Me too.
We addressed this in the last rundown where it was literally just you two talking about the Mets for 20 minutes.
I mean,
we really need to
I
just
look at
back
people
up?
like Ronnie Mauricio and Francisco Alvarez. I think the future's good, but they got to get this Wilpon gone.
So, if I'm understanding, Cohen hired a pervert, right? A pervert.
Sandy Alderson, who also hired Mickey Callaway, hired this pervert. So that's 2 perverts for Sandy Alderson.
DUI, and you guys may be right, but you can go back and forth. As a fan, you're playing well, you're not playing well. And also, if Wilpon was tweeting like Cohen would, forget about it.
Oh, God.
We'll go through Frank's tweets and we'll say, did the Mets win or lose this game to see how objective and down the middle he was along the way.
Clem, I don't disagree with you, but the issue we have is Mr. Positive versus Mr. Negative. Kevin, he cancels console.
I call him as I see him, Dave, right down the middle, just
I
like
don't know
you.
what happened to you. You used to be a straight guy.
Straight
you
as
could
an
go
arrow,
to Clem
baby.
and get an honest answer, and now you're making these cockamamie bets trying to get him to root against the Mets.
I'm facing a goddamn. He's a human meme. He's a cartoon. I can't take him down. He just yells and screams about the Mets all day. I can't do anything about it.
And I've gone through 4 pairs of glasses this year.
Yes, 4 pairs of glasses.
And you know what's nuts? Nobody wants the Mets to make the playoffs more than this guy.
I'll call bullshit on that one. But
I hear it every day. Listen, I've been traveling the United States with this guy for the past month. Every day. I don't know how to feel. I know the Mets lineup more than probably half.
Who wants the Mets to make the playoffs more than him?
Nobody.
The people that are rooting for the Mets and not screaming at them every single time.
Because
No,
I
you
don't
got
want to be in the playoffs at 83 and 79 and just go out.
He wants a ring.
It's been 35 years. My parents made me go to bed, and I never saw that last out.
Frank, you were like 16 years old.
I was 10, almost 11.
I cried. I was on the other side of that one. Cried.
Oh, you saw that, that's right? Yeah.
Yeah, my dad said they don't care about you. Why you care about them?
That sounds like something Mr. Portnoy would say.
Yeah. But Frank, nobody wants them to make. And I'm not even. This isn't like bullshit. Nobody wants them to make the playoffs more than Frank the Tank.
I know you're going to bring up Kevin hating Summer. It's hard to defend someone when they're not here and he hates Summer. It's just it's a hard thing to do.
I mean, my heart was broken by the '88.
Mike Socia. That was my first Mets fan memory. So it kind of set me up for the future. But if I can see the positivity in the long run after that.
But positivity, what stops you and Kevin from just being like, Frank was right, and you guys are all positive together?
I'm still seeing negative, and I want that gone. I want the after losing 11 out of 13 to stop hearing Louis Rojas say we battled in every game.
A smear job
He's
against
happy
Frank
to
the
play.
Tank has been unethical, uncalled for, hypocritical, and disgusting. I'll leave it at that.
Nice tie, though, Dave.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to go on to some more baseball talk. Speaking of a team, I can't even fucking trash this guy. Derek Jeter, Hall of Fame. I was trying to make a joke about Derek Jeter. All he did was fucking win. Frank, you probably loved him since I think you're a closet Yankee fan, the way you bring all these Yankee fans into my life.
He annoys me.
Thoughts on Derek Jeter going to the Hall of Fame?
He annoys me. If I was having a Hall of Fame vote, I would not have voted for him just so he didn't get to be unanimous. And whoever that one guy is that didn't vote for Derek Jeter,
give him a standing O.
you were a brave man. Derek Jeter should not have been the unanimous Hall of Fame choice. Willie Mays wasn't, Hank Aaron wasn't, Mickey Mantle wasn't, Sandy Koufax wasn't unanimous. Now, I could maybe say that Mariano Rivera being the best reliever of all time, I could live with him being unanimous, but not Derek Jeter. Ken Griffey Jr., 3 people didn't vote for him. 5 people didn't vote for Tom Seaver. So Derek Jeter did not deserve to be unanimous, and I'll say he's a Hall of Famer. Yes, he is. But unanimous, bravo. You saved embarrassment.
Don't forget they had the Cinnamon Toast Crunch at the Mets game yesterday, looking like a minor league ballpark out there in Miami.
Actually, correction. We went to the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp game. They wouldn't do that in the minor leagues.
They wouldn't even do that in the minor leagues. Derek Jeter's ruining the sport.
Yeah.
I think they should kick him out of the Hall of Fame right now before he's actually in and bar him for life.
What was the purpose of
What's
that?
worse, what he did or like Pete Rose or Shoeless Joe did? I think whatever Derek Jeter's doing worse. He's ruining the sport live as we're watching it on TV. He probably even want it on TV by next year. Do they even have the games in TV in Florida?
Well, that would basically eliminate Marlins fan from ever going to a game.
Yeah, that's true.
What was the purpose of it? Was it advertising? I mean, like, did they pay? Did he pay for those seats?
probably just put money right into Jeter's account. It was probably like a little
trying to
under the table deal.
I mean,
yeah.
it draws attention to the
when
fact that nobody's buying on
when
plate.
Ronald Acuna tore his ACL, they had the same thing painted on the wall, and it just
But it
looked
was
so
an
awkward and
advertisement,
badly.
not some guy in a suit.
Yeah. It's terrible. It's terrible. Derek
Well,
Jeter
the
ruining the
Cinnamon
game.
Toast Crunch mascot looks like SpongeBob first, and secondly, it just looks so wrong and so creepy.
Looks like something like if you take 3 chi and
Yeah.
it's like something you'd see off there.
You go into it doesn't look good. We'll just say that. If you want to look good, you got to get yourself a movement watch. In a tiny apartment in Southern California, 2 college dropouts teamed up to create a watch company that broke all the rules with fair prices, unexpected colors, and clean original designs. Movement grew into one of the fastest growing watch brands, shipping to over 160 countries across the globe. Movement watches have the look and quality of a $400 to $500 watch you're paying for at the department store, but cost a fraction of the price because they were built online and own their prices from start to finish. You get a beautiful watch shipped right to your door for free, and if you don't love it, you can ship it right back for free. They also make the Everscroll blue light filtering glasses. These help with eye strain and poor sleeping patterns, and I love the modern style of the frames. If you want to elevate your look with style that doesn't break the bank, then join the movement and get 15% off today with free shipping and free returns by going to mvmt.com/rundown. Again, that's mvmt.com/rundown. I got myself a nice little black watch, and it has the little dials and the silver. And wifey goes, "Ooh, fancy boy right here." I mean, this is like me dressing up, right? So I throw that on. I mean, that's how the second kid was born. We'll leave it like that. The second kid was born thanks to the movement watch, or conceived, I should say. Sticking into the sports, we'll stay with the sports realm. Mac Jones walked through with his girlfriend in his front yard, just throwing passes, going through the game plan for Sunday against the Dolphins with his girlfriend. Love it, hate it. I mean, Frank, you're a Dolphins fan. Are you worried about Mac Jones and his girlfriend?
They got another good one, didn't they?
That's some Tom Brady shit. You could hear him and Giselle on Nantucket, running through the playbook and shit like that, instead of just sitting inside.
Well, first off, I called it at the start of training camp that Cam Newton was going to be cut and Mac Jones was going to be the starting quarterback. I called it.
You called it? Frank was right. Tell all the fucking Patriots fans this.
I called it. And especially Cam Newton acting basically pissing off the Patriots, not listening to them. He wasn't following protocols of COVID. He was kind of harassing Mac Jones. So they got him out of there as fast as they possibly could.
Are you making unsubstantiated reports that Cam Newton was harassing Mac Jones? Am I hearing that correctly? Was it like with his Instagram font and shit like that?
Well, he was calling him mac and cheese, and Keyshawn Johnson ripped him on ESPN.
He does. Cam does the nicknames though. It's kind of what he does, right?
But Keyshawn Johnson ripped him, so I guess I don't know.
I will say this, Frank. Nothing brings me more pleasure than at the end of baseball season unmuting NJ Tank 99 and being able to see you just rip other teams. And so it's like as a non-Dolphins fan, I can actually watch you piss off an entire fan base as you freak out every single. Who's the announcer you hate when he does the games?
Kevin Harlan.
Kevin Harlan.
Is he the one that tweeted you?
The Dolphins. Well, I don't remember the Dolphins actually winning a game that Kevin Harlan's called, but then he tweeted at me a Dolphin win in the one season they went 1-15, and then I tweeted back at him and goes, I tried to block that season out of my memory.
Yeah, that was a bad. Who'd you end up getting that year from the draft?
Jake Long.
That's right. Oh, yeah, not a very fun pick.
No, it wasn't.
We'll move on. There was a boat fight. Did you guys see the boat fight?
Yeah.
Straight up, 2 chicks just throwing haymakers, getting tossed over the side. Florida Man Doug's, what do you think about that?
No, I don't. When people randomly fight, like it's not a rough and rowdy. Like a rough and rowdy, there's people in a ring. Like it's like the rules are known. People wearing gloves. Like that's fine. I can watch that. Outside of that, I don't like violence. Just to see 2 ladies start hitting each other in the face, I don't like seeing that. So I would have thrown them over too.
Yeah, this is tough because I remember like in high school, whenever you saw like a girl fight, you're like, holy shit, girl fight. And the girls that were fighting, they're not strangers to fighting. They've been fighting their whole lives. And it is kind of one of those things that everyone just kind of gets up for it. But then you can't be fighting on a boat. There's way too many sharp things. You could have, some serious slipping going on, some serious injuries. So I'm happy he threw them overboard.
Yeah.
The fact they kept fighting into the water, that's how you know there was some deep-seated hatred there.
They were. You could tell they were standing up. I would have liked it if they were much further out and they were just like out in the middle of nowhere. Like you can't fight and swim.
Yeah. Frank, have you ever been in a fight?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Been a long time. I mean, I've seen the Fist of Fury with Caleb, right? And, who's that? Which Paul was that?
Jake Paul.
Jake Paul, right? Then kind of going off of that, we also had all right, let me get this right. Mass Hall, a Boston woman down in Florida, driving a golf cart naked into a police barricade. 6-hour standoff?
Yep.
6-hour standoff, ends up getting arrested after a bit. Doug's, as the resident Florida guy, I guess, of Barstool now.
What's the story here?
Yeah, exactly. This is just like a Tuesday afternoon.
What's the slant? I don't get it.
There's so many things going on in this story. I think that might have actually caused someone's head to explode.
Well, I mean, just a lot of the stuff is, like it doesn't surprise me that it's not a Floridian in Florida. That happens a lot where it's because crazy people are all attracted to Florida, and because it's a wonderful time. It's hot, it's sunny. Kevin would hate it, but no, it's a beautiful time.
Well, you know what I like about Florida is when it's hot here and humid here, you feel like you want to die. Down in Florida, you got that little bit of that ocean air. That ocean air that helps.
Would you consider ever doing maybe a Unit's house in Barstool, Florida? It wouldn't be Barstool Miami per se, but maybe Barstool Tallahassee or Barstool Orlando or something like that. And that's where the Unit's house resides.
Yeah, I think it would have to be Southern Florida. People in Tampa do not like being called Southern Florida, but Tampa, Miami, maybe Fort Lauderdale.
I do feel like the Cops episodes, it would be like Vegas and Florida would usually be when you knew shit was going to go. Occasionally Louisiana would have like a highlight reel.
You got to have the panhandle of Florida going into Louisiana for sure.
And then last one we'll get to Britney Spears' father ending the conservatorship, I suppose.
Yeah, he's filed to end it.
Any real takes on that either way of Britney? Were you guys Britney guys, back in the day?
I'm for freedom. I'll go on the record. I'm pro freedom.
Pro freedom, yes.
But I'm also leery because I understand that we don't see everything. Like we're not with Britney all the time. Or whoever. And so I'm leery of jumping in, like being like, oh, she should be free, and it's like obviously she should be free, but we don't see her every moment of the day where her father might. So it might have been, even if he was trying to do the right thing, I'm glad that everything worked out.
She's approaching 40. I mean, what the hell? I mean, she should have her own life. I mean, it seems like every Disney kid, something's a little off there. I mean, Disney. Anyone that does any Disney kids,
the Musketeers.
The Musketeers. There's always something going on with them.
Yeah, I have a daughter who I think could be like a, child star, and that's the reason she's not going to be one. I've seen the ugly side of it way too much, and now we're communicating through like 30-second Instagrams. That's how Brittany's been communicating for years. Not a good thing. So shout out Brittany. Hashtag
you gotta
free
watch
Brittany.
You got to watch out for your gym, your home gym. Make sure she doesn't burn it down.
Exactly. So we'll have there's probably some free Brittany stuff for Brittany free up there in the store. Check that out. Barstool Sportsbook in Tennessee. Check that out. BC won yesterday, so we're on a 1-game winning streak, and hopefully tonight we make it 2. Got the Overs Club. We have the Fantasy Football Draft tonight. Fantasy Football Factory, subscribe. We got Stephen Shea and Ben Mintz hosting that, and I think there's going to be an auction draft, which is going to be...
Yeah, I've never done that before.
I've never done that. I don't know how to do it.
I know snake draft. The auction draft, it's going to be crazy.
I've always been like, auction draft would be so much better, but then like knowing that I never would actually have the brains to, budget money. Balancing a checkbook. I've never balanced a checkbook. I have 2 kids, a mortgage, and a wife.
I don't even check my
balancing
account.
a checkbook. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. Bunch of Barstool people trying to do math, so either watch this, watch that, watch both. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time.